Hello, welcome to a Creative Expressions video. I'm Christine, and in today's video we're going to be looking at a technique using some of the gorgeous white shard microgranite paste from Crafty Concoctions. I just kind of discovered this sort of by accident for one of the cards I was creating for Sue Wilson's Christmas collection. It's got this stunning large snowflake die in it, and I really wanted to try scraping a paste over the top of it, using it as a stencil and having the leftover background piece you know, as the complete card, and then this could just be something extra once it has the paste all over it. However, when I was doing this kind of technique, I did it onto blue card. I'll show you the card up here actually. This was the card that I created, but I did it onto blue card, and then when I pulled the die cut off I was kind of like, oh, it doesn't really look very good. But then after I let it dry, I ink blended over the top, so where all of the texture paste, the white shard paste, went, the original colour of cardstock was showing through, and where the snowflake actually was, and I removed it so there was just the colour of cardstock there, the ink like soaked all of that in, so then the snowflake became darker than the background and it looked really good. So I've got a couple of them dry off to the side obviously so I can show you, but I wanted to do a purple one because I love purple, so I thought I'd just do a purple one on camera for you. And I also did a purple snowflake, whereas with the others, all three of the others that I've done, I was doing a white snowflake. So for this one, this was an A5 piece of cardstock, and I've just trimmed off enough to cut this much of the snowflake, and then I've left the other piece. But basically, what we're doing to do this technique is, excuse the state of my mat, but I'm just bringing in an old mat that I don't mind getting paste all over, so I can just take it off to the side and not have to clean it while I'm filming. But basically what we're going to do is use this as if it was a stencil. Now it's a little bit trickier than actually having a stencil, because if you did actually have a stencil it would probably be complete and you could just pull the whole thing off. Or I mean, if you don't mind you know, not covering your entire sorry about pumpkin. If you don't mind not covering your entire snowflake in paste, you could have a full one and just not worry that you're not covering this side of it in paste. But basically, you're laying it down as if it was a stencil, and then you're going to take your paste and scrape it all over, right up to the corners, because we actually want the paste to cover our whole cardstock, but then it won't be where we remove the snowflake, but the snowflake will have the beautiful paste on it as well, and will dry, and we can use that on another card too. So it's like one of those 2-for-1 kind of cards. Hopefully you'll know what I mean after seeing the card that I had on the screen earlier. It'll kind of, you know, show you what I'm trying to work towards. So we've got our snowflake and we've got our main piece of card. Now we want to bring in our white shard paste, and I'm just going to scoop some up onto my palette knife. Now this wants to really move around, so once you get the first few swipes of paste onto here, the snowflake die cut does sort of stay put a little bit more. And I'm using a Royal and Langnickel palette knife, and it's really nice and flexible actually. It's really great for this. I was thinking a cranked one, you know, would be better because you're not rubbing your knuckles on the table, but actually this is quite flexible as you're using it, so it's actually pretty good for this technique. So swiping this over, we want to cover the snowflake and we want to cover our background as well. If we get any on the mat, we can also scoop that back up into the pot as well, so we're not wasting too much. But we can just scrape this over, and you can see how that snowflake die cut is now holding in place because we've got enough paste on there. We just want to scrape this across the edges as well, because I'm going to cut this down to my favourite size, which is about here. So in my mind I'm just sort of going up to that rough kind of a line, and I think I'm going to start holding it at this corner because I know I'm not going to need that to be covered. We can just scrape more of this on. You could also sprinkle glitter into this if you wanted to, but I just really wanted the gorgeous effect of that white shard paste to shine. It goes so perfectly for Christmas. So if you're looking for something texture pasty to use for your Christmas cards, this white shard paste or even the clear shard paste from Crafty Concoctions would be fantastic. So once we've done this, we want to be fairly quick about it, because that cardstock that we've covered in the paste is going to start getting a little bit soggy as the paste sort of settles into it. So you want to be fairly speedy at doing this, but we can just carefully peel the snowflake out. So now you're left with a gorgeous frosted snowflake, and you're left with this piece, which actually from above it does look very good. But when I was kind of looking at it, I was sort of thinking, oh, I wish it was the positive, you know, that the snowflake was looking like it was standing out more than the background was. But that's where the next part of this technique will come in. So I'm just going to clean everything up, and then I'll come back to you with the dried versions. Okay, so here are my dried pieces. Now, originally when I was prepping to film this video yesterday, I thought I'll get everything done ahead of time and it'll all be dry. Hang on, I've just got a little, I think that might be stuck in there. Anyway, as I was sort of prepping things, I just put the snowflake onto white card and started spreading the paste through, and then I went, oh, I did it on blue card to begin with. So this is going to be an experiment just to see what that looks like, keeping the background white and then colouring the snowflake on it. So that's going to be a different take. And this one, I worked on the actual size of panel that I was going to be having as my card. So there's a little finger mark there where I was holding it down. But other than that, it's not too bad actually working on the actual size of card. But for this one, I then, oh, this was a snowflake off of this one. And then for this one, I actually thought, oh, I probably do want to show it on a colour so that people can kind of see the sort of technique. It has gone a little bit blobby here, so that may show up in the finished card, but snowflakes are always imperfect anyway, aren't they? Because they're half melting, so I don't think it'll really matter. But this one I've done onto pink, and then there is my snowflake that's left over from that. So we now have these two gorgeous frosted snowflakes. Hopefully that'll focus. Look how gorgeous it looks. I mean, this could even be a decoration to hang on your Christmas tree. It's absolutely beautiful with that lovely frosted effect on there. Looks so gorgeous. So I've got those two ready for other cards, and I think just sticking that onto a white card blank and putting a sentiment on there is going to be perfect to finish that off. Then we've got the panel that I already did on the normal size that I work on, and then we've got the pink one, which I'm hoping I spread enough paste out to cover my favourite size of card. So let's have a look. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I have. Good, good. So if we trim off, maybe trying to sort of follow the pattern to see if I can get it symmetrical. I don't know if I'm looking at the right bit. Oh, there's the straight line on it. Let me follow that bit. That's probably easier. Okay. So I think about there, and if you do that more chopping motion, it cuts through better on a guillotine, because obviously we're going through quite thick paste on this. So I'm now going to do the side panel, or the side cut, and then another long cut, and then the other short cut as well. So we've got this ready to do the inking, and we'll ink in pink on that one. But I do also have these little scraps left over as well, which I'm not sure what I'm going to use them for, but you could do some fun layered kind of pieces for cards as well, and just have like a torn element with that beautiful shard paste on there. You know, not necessarily even bothering with this technique, just spreading some onto some coloured cardstock and using it like this would look beautiful as well, especially like nice and icy for Christmas cards too. So to show the main technique that I kind of wanted to show you in this video, I'm going to get one of my pink ink blending brushes, and what pink do we think is going to work to find my pink inks? I do always go with these sorts of pinks, maybe saltwater taffy and abandoned coral actually, slightly more on the peachy pink side, so I picked out the wrong brush for that. So this kind of a, yeah, I think that would look good. And then for this one, I'm already going to have a purple one, and I have already done the blue card, but I haven't done one like this, so I do feel like blue is going to be a good choice for this one. And I can't remember what blue I did use for the other one. Let's go Uncharted Mariner and maybe a little bit of Mermaid Lagoon, so like a deeper turquoisey kind of blue for that one. So let's start on this one first. And so basically you just want to take your ink pads and ink blend the cardstock. Don't worry that it's getting onto the paste at the moment, because this is a non-porous surface. The paste has got like a medium in it that holds all of the grit in place, so we can easily wipe it off. afterwards. But you just want to focus on getting your ink onto the cardstock in all of that detail that was left behind from where we removed that snowflake. And you can, maybe not so much on this one, probably more on the other one, if there are any areas around the edges where maybe you didn't scrape enough of the paste onto the cardstock, you may get some like random effects around the edges as well, so just add a little bit of ink around the edges too. So we're going on with Saltwater Taffy first, which is our lighter colour, and then we'll add some depth with our Abandoned Coral. You can sort of see the messy effect up here, but I don't think it really matters because, as I said, snowflakes aren't always 100% perfect, so I think it's going to look good. So we'll just add a bit more dark colour around the edge, but don't worry, this isn't all going to stay. This is going to be wiped off, that colour on top of the paste, to go back to the cardstock colour underneath. Right, I think that looks good. So now what we want to do is just clean that up a little bit. I did this two ways last time. The first way, I just dampened a piece of a kitchen roll and did it, but then I found that a baby wipe was actually pretty effective as well, because of the texture in this paste, you can't wipe it. So I was wiping the kitchen roll across it and it was taking off the fibres of the kitchen roll, and you know, they were getting attached to the texture paste. So also if you use a baby wipe, you can't wipe it. It's kind of a dabbing motion, and it was really helpful to kind of dab the paste like that with the baby wipe, which is really wet, and then dab it with the kitchen roll. And you can see you're coming back to that cardstock colour there, and when you get over to the more detailed areas, you can go with a smaller bit of baby wipe and, you know, dab a little bit more gently, and then go with the kitchen roll to take it off. Or I did actually find that just patting with the baby wipe and then dabbing with the kitchen roll was also doing a pretty good job of getting rid of the excess ink, and it kind of gave some extra sort of mottled effects as well, which I quite liked. So you can kind of go whichever way you want to really, and just remove as much of the ink as you want to reveal your beautiful snowflake design. So I think that works really nicely in the pinky corally kind of tones. I think that works really well. And then we'll do a blue version of the one that I did onto white cardstock as well, just to see what it looks like if you've left or if you've used white card to begin with. Then you'll have white behind this paste rather than that beautiful light pink colour that we've got on this one. And then just a simple wordy sentiment to finish that off, and it'll be a gorgeous Christmas card, even some sequins and things maybe, or gems and stuff to finish that off. And you could use it whichever direction you want to really. You could even cut that into 2 panels and have it as a smaller panel in the centre of a smaller card as well, whatever you would prefer. Then let's do the blue one. I will have to use another baby wipe for the blue one, otherwise we may contaminate it with the Abandoned Coral kind of colour. But let's go with, I'm just going to find brushes that kind of match these colours. So they're kind of similar colours. Let's go Mermaid Lagoon. And I will go on to the sort of texture paste area in case we can get some of that texture around the edge where I may not have gone right up to the edges when I was spreading the paste onto there. Okay, so we've got a nice amount of Mermaid Lagoon on there, and then let's add some depth with the Uncharted Mariner as well. I really want this to sort of show the detail, so any of the areas where you feel like they might get lost, do some of this dark colour in there. I'm just really going to get some of that dark into those fine details on there, and then just gently blend it over the rest of it, and I might go a bit darker on those corners to see if we can catch any random bits on those corners. Okay, so we've now got that one covered in ink. You can see how simple it is, you know, to add the ink after you've done this sort of texture paste on there. So wipe that up a second. I'll get a different baby wipe, not the one that I was using to wipe up the paste earlier. And then we could just go straight for that mottled kind of technique if we want to. So just tapping it all over, and then a different part of the kitchen roll to remove it gives a really cool effect on there. I like that a lot. And I do like it with the white actually, because it makes it more striking. You see, originally I did it on the blue because I thought, oh, I won't need to add any ink to it, it'll just look beautiful by itself. And it did look lovely, but it just wasn't quite what I was expecting it to look like, which is why I did the ink blending on it. But if you do it onto the white, you can still have that white underneath the texture paste as well, so it does look just as good. You could also do this with the OptiGold paste as well, and instead of having more of a texture here, which really lovely texture effect, you'd have that beautiful sort of mica-y gold effect on here. And actually I think that would give a much smoother surface, so you wouldn't have to sort of do the dabbing effect. You could kind of wipe it off then as well, any of your excess ink. But I think that gives a really gorgeous effect for your card. I'm actually wondering if I do prefer the white version now rather than the coloured cardstock. This is kind of a bit more subtle, and this is a bit more bolder, frosty snowflake kind of design, but I do really like it. I think it's a really different kind of technique that you may not have seen before, for using your die cuts as sort of, well, technically a mask really, not a stencil, because we're interested in the pattern that it left behind, so it was masking that. But yeah, something that you may not have seen before. Also, if you're not that keen on the texture pastes, you know, using texture paste and getting messy and stuff, you could just use this as a stencil and ink blend over it as well, or do spray inks or something too, because you know I showed you in a previous video turning the Chroma inks into spray inks. That would work really nicely using this die cut as a mask too. And if you have Jamie's acetate in your stash, it die cuts really nicely. I mean, I haven't tried it with this die, but I was doing some other dies the other day, and it die cut through really nicely, and I've never actually found an acetate that die cut. So it's a really good one to get if you've not seen his acetate before. But yeah, anyway, really hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye!